Just raise your hand if you can't feel your breath right now. The minute you stop feeling your breath, because no one raised their hand, just raise your hand once you can't feel your breath anymore. It takes a while to get out of the mind, to go, do I like her, do I dislike her, put in categories, do I like myself, do I dislike myself? And then we slowly come back out of the mind into the breath. So just raise your hand if you can't feel your breath. You got it now? Can anyone else not feel their breath right now? The inhale and the exhale, constantly. Doesn't matter how you're breathing, you can breathe fast. Through the mouth, you can breathe slow. You can look around and still be feeling your breath. You can be even text messaging and still feel your breath. You can close your eyes if you want, if that connects you in deeper. Just keep feeling your breath. Feel my breath if you can't feel your breath. So I'd like to talk about conscious connected breathing. When the mind's not in the way, our breath is connected. When we're in our mum's tummy, the breath was connected like this. Or no pauses. This is another way of explaining unity consciousness or going beyond duality. So you could, can you feel your inhale, everyone? And your exhale? We ain't doing anything else but this. If you're really peaceful right now or really happy, your breath's probably connected. So you may not even need to do pranayama to get it connected again. If you're in your mind, if you're suffering, if you're thinking negative, there's fluctuations in your breathing mechanism. So the breath that I teach is conscious connected breathing, and it's before pranayama. If anyone knows yoga? Anyone practice pranayama? Yeah, so pranayama is when we really create methods in order to get us back to the breathing mechanism. But if we just watch breath, we'll see that it's connected in nature. It's a circle. So think of it like this, right? So the breath's connected. Inhale to the exhale. Constant circle. Also called tantra, an unbroken circuit of energy. And then when you go off in thought or emotion, you put pauses in your breathing mechanism. And most of these pauses came at birth, because in our culture, is there any doctor, what do you call baby doctors when they deliver? Oh my God, obstetricians in the room? No? Midwife? So, have a debate with me if you think I'm wrong, but from my knowledge and from my training, the breathing mechanism gets cut as the umbilical cord gets cut. So for most of us, we're living life like this. So we do a technique in order to get the breathing mechanism back into this perfect circle. And all our problems, jealousy, anger, money issues, social awkwardness or whatever, they just go. There is a processing that you can do with this breath, but the breath is just so intelligent, you don't even need to go into the mind. So there's the breath and the mind. And the breath is the queen of human consciousness. And as we're moving into the feminine, you'll want to start feeling the breath a little bit more naturally in your life. Can you all still feel your breath? Can anyone not? Raise your hand if you can't feel your breath. It doesn't matter how you're breathing. Maybe you're making it breathe. Maybe you're just breathing. Make sure you raise your hand the minute you can't feel your breath, because I don't think you're feeling your breath. You're looking at me too strongly. Your body's not loose. But that's all right. You'll be feeling it very soon. So let's go into a technique. And by all means, you can just stare at me and listen, or you can join in and experiment and see if it works for you, okay? We'll do 20 connected breaths, that's all. I like to close my eyes, but if you want to keep them open, that's okay too. With this, has anyone heard of the Merkaba? So in this is the fastest way, I believe, to activate the Merkaba. We breathe into the heart in this breath. It's not chest breathing, it's heart chakra activation. Because there's a seed in your heart called the Merkaba seed, and when we activate it, it releases this big spaceship or force field around us. NASA use it. You know, it's just science. So we move into the light body. So we breathe into the heart. You can breathe fast, you can breathe slow, it doesn't matter. I like to breathe fast because sometimes if we breathe slow, there's a tendency to control the breath. So we can breathe quite fast. Okay? Usually you do an hour laying down session, but we're just going to have a little taste of it today. Okay? So who wants to close their eyes? Close your eyes. If you want to keep them open, keep them open. And we're just going to do 20 connected breaths. And if you're a skeptic, awesome. Just use it as an experiment. If it doesn't work, do something else. So bring your awareness to your heart, everyone. And you can do that by just feeling into the heart or just letting that gentle breath into the heart. You don't have to breathe in the pace I'm breathing in, so just choose one that's right for you. I like to visualize a circle or the torus, the toroidal energy. And as you inhale, just lift that breath up into the heart. Exhale, release it out, gravity. Relax. Just raise your hand if you feel a bit of energy right now, a little bit of tingling. Good. And if you don't, that's okay. We're going to do a few more. So the thing about the inhale, there's a bit of strength on the inhale. It can represent like the yang or the masculine or the inspiring or coming out of the self, like I want to, or the I am. As you get to the top, don't fill it all the way up. So as it comes to the top, snap it loose. Gravity on the exhale, it's the yin, it's the feminine. It's the non-doing on the exhale. Let go. Let life exhale you. You can even let your body drop on the exhale and lift up on the inhale just to get that wave of energy. Let's do another 20. Feel the joys of breathing. Keep going. For those of you that are feeling quite delicious right now, keep going. And as you inhale, really let that breath come up through the heart, because there's a lot of bruised energy, a lot of blockages there. The breath can dissipate through anything. So the breath's the feminine of human consciousness, or the queen, and the mind's the king. So let's start to see what the female, the feminine of human consciousness can bring in. It brings all the ancient truths directly. You don't need to read, you don't need to be literate. You can just breathe and be very intelligent directly. Raise your hand if you're feeling a bit of energy now. A bit of tingling. All right, let's do a different technique. We'll do 4 short, and on the 5th a long one. So like this. Twenty of those. Eyes open or closed. 20 rounds. Keep going. That's 3 rounds. You're on your own. You may even hear like, that's you moving through subconscious stuff coming up. The breath brings up subconscious issues within us. You're absolutely purifying your nervous system just with the breath. The immortal yogis in India, this is the breath they do. Physical immortal yogis. It releases the connective tissue, it youths you, starts the youthing process, and physical immortal is when yogis have just learned to stay in their body. Beyond 100 years, beyond 200 years, beyond 300 years, Babaji still lives in his body. Just showing you your potential. Another 5 rounds like this. 4 short, and on the 5th, a long inhale, and gravity exhales you. Into the heart. Watch all your stuff be cleared out in this instant. In the Course in Miracles it says if it takes time, it's not the truth. So you can clear it all right now. Tapping into the yin and the yang. The yang, the strength. The yin, do nothing. No pauses, no stops. Constant flow of unbroken energy is Tantra. Last round. And now to end, just let the breath be really subtle, really quiet. Get really close to the breath. This is how we learn to breathe energy. It's really quiet, really subtle. Be spontaneous with the breath. Just let it play through you now. See that it's connected in nature, by nature. And if you just do this for the rest of your life, you won't have any problems. Namaste. Thank you all so much.